On this episode of Kumite Radio, I was able to get a very, very busy man. His name is Will the Kill Chope. He has fought in almost every promotion in Asia, and he is one of the guys that has fought in China more than any other fighter. He kind of talks about his experiences in China, the good, the bad, the ugly, how you would be able to get fights in China if you want to be if you're down to fight anybody. He also talks about MMA in Southeast Asia and especially in Thailand and some of the fighters that we should be on the lookout for that are up and coming. He talks about his promotion, Thailand Fighting Championship, and their third show, which is coming up in the next couple of months. He talks about moving to Singapore and kind of focusing more on having a full camp before his fights instead of just fighting every month or twice a month, because he's a beast, he's a killer. So he would, for the last few years, he's just been fighting and fighting and fighting, not really getting proper camps. And now he's kind of made a home base at Juggernaut Fight Club in Singapore. So if you want to learn from him, because he's a very knowledgeable guy, you should probably go out there if you are in Singapore to the gym and take some lessons from him. Yeah, so it was a pleasure having him on. He always speaks the truth, one of the nicest guys you'll meet. So here you go. All right, what's up, Will?
Yo, what's up, John? What have you been up to?
Yeah, thank you for coming on to Kumite Radio, man.
Oh man, stoked. I'm always trying to make sure I share and retweet your guys' stuff. So
Yeah, I see you on there. So, just big thanks from, everybody at Kumite Radio. It's all
no
good.
worries.
But I see that you're in Singapore. So what you doing over there?
Yeah, so TFC 2 was just about like a little over a month ago, and right after our Thailand Fighting Championship, I just bounced back over to Singapore. I started coaching at Juggernaut Gym. Juggernaut is like one of the main fight gyms in Singapore, and they just moved to a much larger facility, and Arvin Lawani asked if I could come back and coach again. So yeah, I like Singapore. I like training here. I feel like I get the best. Surprisingly, even though I live in Thailand a lot, I feel like I get the best training when I'm a trainer at Juggernaut. So I wanted to come back over and yeah, just coach and train.
So like you're coaching, like what exactly are you who are you coaching over there?
So I coach like the normal clients, like just normal gym members and stuff. But there's they have amateur fighters here. They got a lot of boxers trying to get on the national boxing team that train at Juggernaut and stuff. And so I coach boxing and Muay Thai. Luke Adams and Emilio Rutia, they coach jiu-jitsu and MMA. And then yeah, so we coach the amateur fighters, and also like we coach the others on the fight team, and then yeah, we train ourselves as well. So yeah.
Yeah, like talking about the Juggernaut Fight Club, is that the fight club or fight team?
Well, Juggernaut Fight Club is the name of the gym, but yeah, but we have like there's a lot of normal members, of course, but we have a pretty big fight team, and I feel like Juggernaut has more of like locals competing than other gyms. Like more local Singaporeans actually training and competing to be like amateurs and hoping to become professionals. Got Tiffany Teo training for her 1FC fight. I think it's in a couple weeks, so she's always at the gym too.
Yeah, talking about moving over to Singapore, because you were over there coaching, I think, and fighting over out of Thailand, right?
Well, yeah, like I've been in Juggernaut on and off since like the end of 2013. Like right before I did my like most of my or part of my training camp here for my first UFC fight for with Max Holloway. That's when I first started training over here, and then after the whole UFC thing and I got out of the UFC, I came back over here and I started coaching full time. But I bounced back and forth to Thailand and Singapore a lot. Yeah, but I mean, originally I started in Thailand, and my wife's Thai, and my kids and my wife's in Thailand right now, and so I go back and forth a lot. But I honestly feel like I get the best training here at Juggernaut, and so it's always good to come back, have a steady salary, and also have really good training as well. So that's like the benefits about being in Singapore.
All right. So, um, with your family situation, are you gonna go back and forth, or is that
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna the next time I'll go back is I think in July. We're gonna start getting ready for TFC3, which tentative like it was supposed to be July 1st, but we had to reschedule. So tentatively, we're gonna probably push it. We're pushing it back to August. Don't have a confirmed date yet. So TFC3 will be. I'm still gonna go back and forth for Thailand Fighting Championship and for my family, but I'm gonna do most of my main training now back in Juggernaut, and I'll be here for. I promised Arvin I'll stay here for at least a year. So.
all right? So, um, being in Singapore, like, what are the benefits for you other than training at Juggernaut and stuff like that?
Well, like the salary, like when I was coaching at this small gym in Thailand, you make like a small salary in Thailand. It's like nothing. So it's man, like a few $100, and I can't like support a family off of a few $100. And if I get injured or if I don't have enough fights and stuff like that, or I'm on the like losing streak right now, I just kind of want to like I don't want to just jump into fights and because my body's taking too much damage and I'm just like not having proper training before fights and I'm losing and I'm not making as much money when I'm just staying in Thailand. So the great thing about being in Singapore, I could do personal trainings and I have my I can coach like for a living and make enough money just off coaching. I don't have to fight when I'm in Singapore. And now I can train properly and that's what I'm doing. I'm actually taking a break and my next fight's not going to be until July 23rd. And I just want to have a proper training camp for like the first time in a really long time, you know? So
Yeah, it seems like that the past few years you just been fighting and then just continue fighting. It's not like really like you fight and you have a like you can relax and then train and then fight again. It's seems like you've
yeah,
been continually fighting.
most fighters they have a fight and then like or they have a whole full training camp, right? They peak in their training camp and right when they peak they have their fight and then they have a whole little break and a layoff and then they go back to their training camp, they confirm an opponent, 2 3 months later, and then they have another fight, they peak and they perform like at a really high level because of that. But man, I fight and then 2 3 weeks later I'm fighting again, maybe Muay Thai or K1 or I don't know if you've seen that new show MAS. I fought MAS's first show
Where
and
is MAS located?
MAS is in China.
Okay.
It's like a. Did you see Yodson Clay and Buakaw agreeing to fight for $1 million? I'm not sure
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
saw that.
yeah.
Okay, that's for MAS. MAS is like a new promotion. It's a weird ass rules though, but it's like a 1 9 minute round, and it's anything goes on the stand on standing up. You can clinch, elbow, knee. You can do standing submissions, and they have MMA gloves. But it's if you go to the ground or you take them down, they're gonna reset it. So automatically, like there's no ground game at all. It's just all stand up. It's like an MMA stand up fight basically. It's weird. But you can do like standing guillotines and shit. But yeah, but I mean, just fighting all these different shows and fighting so often and all these different rule sets, like it's hard to get ready like to the best of my ability for each fight. And I just been fight to I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, with that MAS, that's interesting that you can do submissions while you're standing up. So when you train, you would have a limited amount of submissions that you can train while you're standing, right?
Yeah.
Like a standing rear naked choke or a head and arm choke and stuff like that.
But I tried the standing rear naked choke, then he twisted back into me. But they can take a knee. If they just take a knee, they're gonna reset it. So it's
Ah.
like, so it's kind of like fucked up. Like I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah,
It's like pro wrestling when they have like if you're near the rope and you could put your leg on the rope and then they have
man,
to
those
let
like
go.
the old pancrase rules used to do that shit. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unique rule set. I guess that's to limit people just stalling on the ground or whatever. They're not used to the mixed martial
Yeah,
arts
they
out
just want
there.
to see like excitement and knockouts and China's kind of crazy right now. But the fight scene is exploding over there. So I mean that's kind of cool. At least a lot of money to be made over there. But
How do
yeah.
you cuz a lot of fighters around here a lot of them have a tough time getting fights. And like there's a lot of shows in China. How do you how do you get your foot into the door?
You just have to know like get one or two guys that already have that are based there that the thing in China, you have to find the right middleman, or like kind of like a manager. You need like your own Chinese, like a manager just for China fights. And there's a few people I know that I've gotten fights with, but some they're not like the best character. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Silas Maynard.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't have the best reputation, right? I'm not sure what you heard. I mean, if people can Google him. If you guys are listening, you can Google Silas Maynard China MMA, and you guys will see this guy doesn't have a really good history. But this guy, one thing, no matter about like his personality or whatever, how he's fucked over a lot of people, but the one thing he can do is he can guarantee you fights. So it's like it's what you want to trade. If you really want to fight, you go through this guy and he'll get you a fight. But do you want to put up with all the other shit, or maybe you might get a mismatch, or you might get some really unfair situations or circumstances if you're gonna agree to fight for this guy. But he'll get you a fight, So I don't know.
All right. So I guess the young fighters, if if you're listening to this, you need to get in contact with Silas Maynard and get
Yeah,
yourself a fight
but
in China if you want to fight over there.
that's the thing too about China. Like, if you're gonna fight in China, expect you're gonna fight one of the best Chinese guys, and they're gonna set you up to lose. And as long as you're okay with that, and you're ready, you're gonna go in and you're gonna like upset them. Fine, go fight. Like if you're not scared of that, if you're like if you're all worried about even match and the right, if you want to find video footage of your guy, yeah, good luck. That's not going to happen. You're never going to get video footage of your opponent, or anything like that before you go fight. So you're just going to get some name. You might not even get a name. It might be like those it's kind of like the Muay Thai fights in Thailand where you don't know who you're fighting until you show up.
Did you
But
see just recently that um Charles Bennett, you know Charles Bennett, right?
yeah, so he's there over there with Silas.
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy
yeah.
Crazy Horses went there, and Silas somehow got him. And yeah, he's on. He got brutally knocked out. Like that first fight, he got brutally knocked out. And he
Muay Thai
dislocated his
fight.
finger. Yeah, it was a K1, I think. Was it Muay
Oh,
Thai or
was it
K1?
K1?
I think it was K1.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
stand. I know that it was strictly stand up, and I think that was a huge mismatch, like you said, that they
yeah. They
considered to
don't.
set you up with, and he got brutally knocked out. And then a couple weeks
Yeah,
later, he fought on Kowloon. I
and he
think last
dislocated his
week.
finger. Right? I think he dislocated his finger or some shit, or broke
Oh,
his
he
finger.
did,
Then he
but
just stopped.
he was
Yeah,
getting his ass whooped for that
yeah.
round though, really bad.
But I think something happened with his finger or his hand, and he
Hmm.
broke it, and then he like just tapped out. He quit. So,
Yeah,
but
they went to the
bueno.
corner between rounds, and
Yeah.
then the doctor stopped the fight. So, well, I didn't know that
Oh,
it was
okay.
his
Yeah.
finger. I thought that he just didn't step out because it's hard to find news about the fights.
Yeah. Like, unless you are a Chinese speaker, but even if you speak Chinese and you can read Chinese, or even if you know the right articles and you translate them, it's really the way the media. It's very nationalist. The articles are very nationalist when it's a China versus a foreigner. So you're never gonna get like a very like a honest opinion of what happened in the fight or what happened at the results. Like, so even the write-ups, a lot of the write-ups are very biased in how they write this stuff, and you don't really know what happened in the fight. It just sounds like Chinese guy dominated, or like, even if the foreigner wins, you don't really they'll talk about how brave the guy was in at how he took on such a tough challenger from overseas that had 100 fights or something crazy. They'll make something up. They make shit up, and they just talk about the Chinese guys. So it's like,
Well,
yeah, it's hard, man.
like you said, if you want to fight and you want to just go in there and you think you're the best in the world, and if you don't care about a fair shake, then I guess you go to China and they're gonna do everything they're gonna do everything in their ability to make you lose, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's 100% true. And if you fight a foreign, if you're a foreigner fighting a Chinese, you're always gonna fight a good Chinese. They're never gonna put a shitty Chinese fighter versus a foreigner. They're always gonna put good good Chinese guys against you. And there's a few times like I've had good MMA matches, like just because they didn't know who I was. Uh, like, I've had people undersell me to get fights to China. They just say, I'm an English teacher, and he trains in Thailand sometimes, and I've gotten some good matchups that way. but but uh but the guys are usually still pretty good. But yeah, they didn't know who they're fighting, like a UFC veteran or anything like that, or a guy with a lot of matches. But if you win in China, they'll keep bringing you back because they want to see one of their Chinese guys beat you. So, and the money's good. Like the money in China is much higher than most other places in Asia. Like especially Southeast Asia. If you're a fighter based in Southeast Asia, it's really rare if you're going to make more money unless you sign to ONE FC. Like you're probably not going to make more money. And you can fight in China and get one fight deals, no exclusive contracts, and so there's a freedom to fighting in China too. There's a lot of disadvantages fighting there, but there's a lot of advantages too if you're good, if you're a good fighter.
You never had any problems with the promoters or, any crazy stuff go down with like the Chinese people?
Oh yeah, so like I don't know if you know Yang Jinping. Yang Jinping was on Tough China. He's a real pretty boy. He's sponsored by some big companies, but he's even sponsored by this milk company. He's literally on milk cartons and stuff. But one time I got asked to throw a fight against him, but then I just pulled out and left. They flew me from Phuket to Bangkok to do my visa. This was back in 2011, I think. And before they flew me to Bangkok, they just told me they wanted me to fight this guy, Yang Jinping, blah, blah. And then when I'm going to get my visa made, we're talking about the fight with the guy, the handler, the Chinese guy that's helping me get my visa. And I was like, yeah, I'm really gonna try to put on a good fight. I just want to be exciting, and I hope they bring me back. And he was like, wait a minute. He's like, they want you to lose, right? I was like, wait, what? like, what do you mean? Like, and so I kind of freaked out, and then I just got all quiet in the car. I kept my passport tight. As soon as we got out, I told him when we were at the embassy, I told him I had to go to the bathroom. I just fucking bounced and left, and I went to the bus station. I took a bus back to Phuket that very day, and I just left the embassy, and yeah, it was
Damn, so they
crazy.
had a plan for you the whole time that you didn't even
Yeah.
know about.
And supposedly, like the guy who put me in contact, he was supposed to tell me I was supposed to throw the fight, and but he didn't. He didn't tell me that. He told me he's like, yeah, they want you to lose, but he's like, that's everybody in China. Of course, they don't want you to win. They don't want the foreigners to win. I was like, yeah, I know that. I'm just gonna go and fight, but I'm still gonna fight hard. But no, but the way the guy was talking to me, he's like, no, they specifically want me to throw the fight, like, and they need a pro fighter to throw a fight to make it look good, to make the other guy look good or whatever. And I was just like, I'm not having that. And so that was the only time for a China fight but I've heard a lot of other stories though, where other guys, I've known guys, and there's this guy named this French guy. He used to train with Silas in Shanghai. He used to throw a lot of fights in K1 and MMA. He'd go out there. He was actually, the crazy thing was that he was actually pretty good. And but yeah, he would just go out and throw fights and make a quick $1,000 or $2,000, and then boom, go fight again next week. And then yeah, he just made a living throwing fights in China.
Also, it sounds like the old school boxing style where they would have guys that would come in and just lose to certain guys and pad their records so they could, run up the ranks a lot faster. Because did you
Yeah,
see that article or did you see that little thing that they did about the British boxers that would have records like 2 and 100?
oh shit, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the dudes is just like their whole career is based off losing. So what they would do is they would lose and that's how they would like provide for their family and they would do it for years and years and years.
Man, but the thing is, you still have to be kind of good to throw a fight, like, because you
Exactly.
can't
You
just
got to
go
be
in
a good
there.
actor.
Yeah, and you got to be able to there and kind of take a beating and kind of put on a little bit of a show, and then take a dive, like, and you have to take a dive convincingly. Yeah, so I don't know.
So did you hear about like the guy in Korea, the one that fights for the UFC? He was
Which one?
uh Taeyong Pang
Okay,
uh,
okay.
from Korean Top Team.
Yeah, yeah.
They
What
just
about him?
did you read the article about him how he was paid to throw a fight
Oh
during the
yeah, no, I
UFC
did.
Pro?
I didn't read the article, but I saw the headline
Hmm.
and I saw it being shared on Facebook, but I didn't know what it was. Yeah, I should have clicked on it. Did he really throw a fight though? Like it was.
No, he didn't throw the fight because before the fight they came to him. They came to him and Leo Kuntz because that's who he was supposed to fight in Seoul, or that's who he did fight in Seoul. And they asked him like, "Hey, you guys are you guys involved in any like fight rigging or anything like that?" And then the dude, I guess he got scared or something. Bang got scared and he just went in there and fought to win, and he
Nice.
won.
Good, good.
But after he won, the people that kind of paid him, they paid him like 100,000 to throw the fight, and then the guys that paid him bet like $2 or $3 million on the other
Oh
guy.
wow.
So basically, he lost over $3 million,
Oh wow.
for the guys that kind of like paid him to throw the fight. So that's why he went to the police, and that's how they figured it all out. Like
Oh man.
it's a bad
Yeah, but it's
situation for
scary.
him. It
In
is. That's
Asia, it's
scary.
scary. It's still like the Wild West here. People don't understand that. Like especially in like places like China, Korea, and even Southeast Asia. Like some big rich people, powerful guys come and telling you like that. Like you're gonna be scared. Like especially when that much money's involved. In America, it's a lot easier to be protected by the commissions and there's so much other stuff protecting fighters, and you don't have to worry about that. But it's a little bit scarier out here in Asia.
Yeah, it is. It's I think, to be honest with you, there's still, you know, like Pride was cool because of the fights, but like as in like organizing the MMA and organizations, they're still kind of behind the, like the Western organizations, as in like protecting the fighters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's because they're well, like Pride and even Ryzen, they just want a show. They don't care about like the best versus the best. They're caring about like entertainment value, like how
Yeah.
much entertainment is like. I'm gonna put this masked guy against Pro Cop and watch him get his head kicked off. Like they don't care about that guy's safety at all. No, they just care about entertainment. Like just accept it. Take that check and accept it.
Yeah, for real, huh? He you have been, fighting for many years, man, around Asia, and now you got yourself into promoting in Thailand.
Yeah.
So how has that been?
So it's a lot of people think that we're paying off the police or my wife must know like mafia or something like that. But actually, so one thing I can honestly say is TFC or Thailand Fighting Championship is the only legal MMA show in Thailand, and we're like my wife and her family. My wife, I can't do it without my wife. My wife has a lot of and my wife's family, I should say, has a lot of connections, and so we had to get permits from the mayor, from the police, from the sports authority in our state. Pang or in Kalak, Phang Nga is our state, so we had to go to the sports authority in Phang Nga, and we had to actually get proper permits and stuff. And as far as I know, I know Primal FC and Dare Fight Sports and even in Full Metal Dojo, they don't need to do that. They've done it their own way, and they have their own people to protect them. And last Full Metal Dojo that you were at, there was some big like generals there. They weren't in their uniform. They were just chilling and just drinking. Some Thai generals that are part of like own the clubs and stuff. And so like John's protected. He has like as long as he keeps doing his clubs in Bangkok at those big clubs, he doesn't need the sports authority. He doesn't need the government or anything like that because he got those big clubs to kind of shield him from everything. But yeah, with my wife and stuff, she knows like the right people to talk to, so we just go get our permits, and it's a little bit longer process and it's more of a headache. But at least we're like legal and nobody can fuck with us, and the police can't shut us down or anything like that. So that's nice.
Well, damn, I didn't even know about like how intricate that was, the system of, getting fights done in Thailand, that you have
Okay,
to get
because
permits from the police
yeah,
and
you,
stuff
you
like
have to,
that.
well, to do an event, like if you're going to do a public event that you're charging tickets for, you're technically a business. So you have to do, like we had to fill out tax forms for the first two events. We didn't make money. So when we tax forms, we don't have to pay tax. Well, we lost money. So but we still have to fill it out, and we have to do all the paperwork, like proper paperwork for it. And especially like when we are going to do the event on the beach, we had to get the police permit because technically the beach is public property, so we had to get actual public property, like a permit to do an event on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does
let's
that make if
talk
that
about
makes
the
sense?
beach. The beach situation. Like that's a crazy situation right there. So,
Oh man. So we have there's this awesome bar called Thai Bar in Khao, and it's like on this weird like it's the way it is. It's kind of like a private. It's sort of like it's not a private beach. It's still technically a public beach, but the way to get to it, you can only go through to get you can only get to it through one way. And there's a bar there, and so it was cool. We've had it set up, and we can charge people for tickets to go to the event. But it's also next to this little like river, and it was rained super fucking hard like for like 3 4 days right before my last event. So literally like 2 days before the event, we're like, fuck, we can't do it at the beach, and we had to cancel it last minute, and we had to move the cage over to this little shitty Muay Thai stadium. This really dirty like old school style Muay Thai stadium in Kalak, and then so that's why we couldn't do it at the beach, but we are hoping. It was Primal got it though. Primal FC did their show at the beach they had a private beach at I think it was Paradise Beach in Phuket. Their event looked really nice. Looked
Yeah,
dope.
definitely. I saw the event. Yeah, they had it pretty. They were pretty well organized for their first
Yeah,
show.
yeah, because the whole private beach, they have everything there because they already have like the DJ and all the sound equipment and the lighting and stuff. So that's really cool because it's that private beach is like its own little club, sort of like the beaches. It's like a club. They have like a lot of full moon parties and different things like that. So that's pretty dope. No, they did a good job though, and they had a lot of fights, and man, yeah, it was really cool. I was catching out the stream. My friend fought Muay Thai that same day, and then so I was cornering my friend, but I was watching the stream on my phone while. But yeah, it was a good fight. Yeah,
You're multitasking, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's cool to see that um in Thailand, like everybody supports each other. You see John Nutt going out to all the events and sharing, like all the posts and stuff like that, even for the other promotions in Thailand, and always talking about how, Thailand is the great place to come and train and fight and stuff like that. So, like in other countries, it's not really like that. Everybody hates each other, the
Yeah, well,
promotions.
like, why are we gonna fight over tourists that are like, like, I don't know why would we have no reason to fight anyways. I feel like we don't have, I don't think any of us like, or as far as like me being TFC, John, Full Metal Dojo, and even the Primal guys, I don't think we any of us have enough money to like lock in fighters to like exclusive contracts or anything like that. And also we don't have enough events. Like me as a fighter, I know, and even though John's a fighter. Like he had fights back in the day in Muay Thai, and he knows how it is to be a fighter and train. And it's not easy making a living in Thailand off of just fighting and sponsors and whatnot. So he knows that like why are we gonna lock down any fighter? I feel like if any of us lock down fighters, it's stupid. It's better if we just all help each other, and really, if John can promote a guy, and if I can use that guy in my event, and that same fighter wins in Primal FC, FMD, and TFC, it's good for all three of us. It's good for everybody. It's good for the fighter. It's good for the promotions. It's easier for us to promote them. And yeah, and also we're all in different locations. So John kind of got Bangkok down. Uh, and Primal is gonna be doing more shows in Phuket, and my next show is gonna be in Hua Hin, which is like 2 hours south of Bangkok, and Khao like 2 hours away from Phuket, so I'm just kind of like the weird location guy.
That's all good, like you
Yeah,
you have to like have your own lane, right? So everybody, like you said, John has his lane, which is kind of, Bangkok, and Primal has Phuket, so gotta do
yeah,
your thing.
and it's like Primal too. Like I mean, our Phuket's a good location because you got all those gyms and uh and there's so many like really like but they got all those fighters from all the gyms and they got all the members from the gyms, whether if they're staying a month or 2 months, they're all gonna go watch the fights. And in Bangkok, there's a huge expat community. I'm really trying though with TFC to make it more like Southeast Asian and really more Thai MMA. Like I I made sure like both my first and second card has more like Thai fighters than any other nationality and stuff. So I'm gonna keep trying to do that and really trying to push the Thais and build the Thai level and just give them more opportunities to fight. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see how it goes. Yeah.
yeah, in your last event, you had some pretty good fights, a lot of finishes, and that guy Top Noi,
Yeah,
he's
he's a
pretty
beast.
legit, right? He's a Thai, he's not a foreigner, so he's a Thai guy, but with his name Top Noi and the way that he fights, it's a guy that's kind of like, shining over there a little bit in those promotions, because he's fought for, I think, all the promotions, right?
Yeah, he fought Primal FC 1 week before he fought for me, and then yeah, he fought mine, and then he fought for FMD before a few times as well. So yeah, he's a
Yeah, he's
terror.
making the rounds.
But actually my favorite one from Tiger Muay Thai. We call him Top Yai because his name's Top also, or Top Saksarin, but he's like the bigger Top. So we see Top Yai is big, Top Noi is little. So Big Top, Big Top's my favorite. He's a Rajadam champ. Top Noi's Lumpini champ, but both of them are beasts. I'm definitely a big fan of Top Yai. So
Oh,
and he fought on my first show and my second show.
yeah, those guys, they're the guys kind of like to look out for, as in like Thai MMA. Now, in Thai MMA, it's still very new, right, for the Thai guys to be fighting MMA.
Yeah, you know what I really think it is? Like why they don't cross over as much? Because they're already so good at Muay Thai, and like it's really hard to be a fucking like a super good pro and expert at one art, and then go train BJJ and wrestling and not know anything and be like a complete beginner. It's hard to, you know what I mean? You spend your whole life training one martial art, then you go back, then you have to go start BJJ or MMA and be a beginner, and I think it's frustrating. I think that frustrates a lot of Thais, and I feel like that's a reason why a lot of Thais don't train more MMA. But
Well, just recently, there was Y2K. He fought at Kowloon, and he started off as a Muay Thai, right, practitioner,
yeah,
and now he's kind of fully committed to MMA. It seems like.
yeah, and so now Fairtex is really supporting him, paying for his training camps to go to Tiger. Sometimes they're trying to get a better MMA program at their facility now, and yeah, now they're starting to embrace MMA. There's been a lot of resistance. There was a lot of resistance towards MMA, and MMA was considered illegal for a while, but now it's not considered like illegal or illegal. It's not recognized anymore. But well, as far as the law, but I mean, a lot of the gyms, the Thai gyms, were all very resistant towards it, like a few years ago. But now since this last year, I guess everybody's been open up to it, more open minded, and they're just starting to, hey, the MMA's around to stay, so now they're just starting to embrace it and take it in, and yeah, and it's been good. That's why there's been more growth now. I think the last 1 or 2 years than there has been in like the last like 10 years.
So other than you're saying that you wanted to help, like Southeast Asian MMA grow and Thai MMA grow, but other than that, what were your reasons for starting TFC? Because having a promotion and being a fighter and then also being a father, that's a lot of shit that you got to do in one day.
Yeah,
So
I actually honestly just did it for fun. I just thought it would be kind of fun. I just wanted to do an event in Cowlock. I feel like Cowlock is so close to, because I was gonna be based in Cowlock, but yeah, and things changed. But now I'm back in Singapore. But I mean, Cowlock is so close to Phuket, but there's only 2 gyms there, and it's really really nice. And not many people knew about it, and I thought it would be a cool way to like for the MMA community to kind of know about Cowlock and see if we can get more fighters over. And yeah, I just kind of did it for fun. And then after the first event, and I saw the interest, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna try to do another event, and now we got some there's some big people interested, and that's why we're moving to Hua Hin. For our next show, we got like some new partners and stuff, and yeah, it ended up becoming its own little entity. It was just started out for fun though. It was just said, I don't know, just thought it'd be cool. Yeah,
well, that it only helps people by having another avenue of or another a promotion out there that they could fight at. Who do you see in the first three events that you've done, or first two, right? You've done
yeah,
two
just
events, so
do
yeah,
it so far. Yeah.
first two, right? In the first two events, who did you see that was like, hey, this guy, you need to watch this guy? Because most of the guys that fight in your promotions, they're up and coming guys. So
Yeah, so both tops, Top Noi, Top Yai, from the Tiger Muay Thai, Top Saksaran and Top Noi, are they're both from Tiger.
mm,
And also, they got this other guy, this other Thai fighter that his record's 4-3, and I actually didn't think much about him until after his last fight because he beat I call him my little brother, Biondi Diangadang. He's like my little brother, and he fought on both events. But Dechidin fought Biondi last event and just kind of dominated. He dominated him, and Dustin is really, really good fighter. He trains under Tommy Hayden at Bangkok Fight Lab, and he also trains at Banchamek Gym with Buakaw a lot. So Dechidin is a guy everybody should look out for as well. his nickname's Detchpool, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, so Detchpool, yeah, he's gonna be like one of the other guys I really want to promote. I'm hoping he's gonna fight on my third show again. He's fought for FMD before, so yeah, everybody should look out for that guy.
All right, now going back to you, like when's your next fight? You're saying in July?
July 23rd for I'm not sure if you've seen Hypercore. It's just, the show. I didn't make up the show name. It's a new organization in Malaysia called Hypercore Beatdown Championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mouthful, but yeah, for Hypercore, that's the show I'm going to fight in for July 23rd. It's in Kuala Lumpur, and yeah, new organization. I think it's just another organizers. They're seeing like the potential because Malaysia with Mima and Toon Talk and how much ONE FC goes there. It's MMA is really popular in Malaysia now, and so I think a few other people are starting to jump on board.
Do you know your opponent?
Yes, I'm fighting Sismundo, the Ryzen veteran.
Oh,
He fought in Ryzen
Sismundo.
against Mario Sismundo. He
Yeah.
looks just like Manny Pacquiao. People think I'm just saying just because he's Filipino, but I swear to God, he looks just like Manny Pacquiao, and I swear that's the only reason Ryzen signed him to fight Kawanaga. Or I think he fought Kawanaga, or he fought Yachi.
Mm-hmm.
Who did he fight? Yusuke
Oh, that's
Yachi
where I
in
heard the
Ryzen.
name. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Ryzen, in the last
yeah, he
Ryzen
fought.
event, right?
Yeah, he lost in Ryzen. The guy flying eat him and hit him in the rib. I think he broke his rib, but yeah. So I'm fighting that guy.
What weight division is that?
So I'm fighting again at catch weight. It's gonna be catch weight, but I'm fighting at 67 kg. So
Okay.
sucks. That's my first. It's gonna be the first time going down under 70 in like 2 years. I haven't been under 70 in maybe more than 2 years. Yeah.
Well, since that you're in Singapore now, and then now you're able to have a full camp, so I guess cutting the weight will probably be a lot easier for you, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason I agreed to it because Sismundo originally wanted at 65. I wanted at 70, so then we just met halfway, and then that's why we agreed at 67. So, and then yeah, I'm in Singapore, so I can actually like in Thailand, it's really hard to diet. There's not like proper nutrition stores, but Singapore is definitely much more modern and really easy to watch. Yeah, have a proper diet for this camp, and so that's good.
All right. Well, how's the new gym? Because I seen online that you guys have this brand new facility. How is it?
Yeah,
How
so
does it feel to go into a new place?
it's awesome. There's a huge ring. We got a Okay, so people that don't know Juggernaut used to be this tiny gym. Man, it was like a little studio. Like it was just like, and we used to have this one like super small ring that two guys can barely fit in. And but yeah, this new facility though. The fact this is the third time he's moved. This new facility is yeah, we got a huge ring. We got a small little cage, bunch of new bags, plenty of mat space, and we just didn't have that at the last gym. So yeah, it's really cool to come back and yeah, new facilities. So yeah.
So, what kind of clientele do you have over there? As in, like you said you've been doing like personal training and stuff like that. So,
Oh yeah. So hold on. All right, we got like there's a lot of students because Juggernaut's not a super expensive gym for Singapore. So we do got a lot of students and we got people in NS like national. There's national service here, so a lot of good national service guys, and also a lot of people that just work around that don't work that far from the gym. But the foreigners that are based here in Singapore, they usually have good paying jobs, and there's a few foreigners I do teach before, and so that's cool. Yeah, there's different clients. I guess just like any gym in the States or even I guess Korea, like any like normal gym in a city. But we just have like I like Juggernaut because and I like Arvin. Arvin does like he doesn't lose focus of his fight team. A lot of gyms they lose focus of the fight team because they think the fight team doesn't really make a lot of money, but his passion's always been the fight team, and he balances really well with the normal clients, and I don't know. That's why I always think this is a really good gym to be at and train at, and even to work for. So I can't
yeah,
complain.
your team is growing so much. You guys got so many different fighters fighting for different promotions all the time. So it should be very
Yeah,
beneficial for you, right?
yeah, definitely. Because when I was at Combat 360X in Calock, like it's such a small gym, and we just didn't have enough people there, and it was basically it was just me. Like when I fought, when I would last time I fought for Top FC, uh, I got ready for that fight by myself, and that was like a like it was just kind of sucked. Yeah, just it sucks trying to do camps by yourself and not really have anybody, and or only having one pad holder or something like that. And so yeah, going to a much busier gym, and yeah, more bodies, especially high level other bodies that are other fighters that are other like high level too to train with is it's great, you know.
Yeah. So, um, going back to your last fight, your last MMA fight, how did you feel about your performance?
Man, I was just it was really weird. Like I should have took more risks when I you talk about Tommy Hayden, right? Or
Yes.
yeah, so I should have took more risks to stand up, but but when in that first round when I tried to turn into him and try to grab a leg and stand up and I got kneed in the face, uh, I was just like fuck. It kind of rocked me and I remember my face swelled up instantly and then I was just like all right, I'm just gonna wait for him to make a mistake and I tried to go for triangles. I tried to work a couple sweeps and but Tommy just didn't. He's so high level. He just didn't make any mistakes, and he just stayed super disciplined to his game plan. And yeah, it's fucking hard. It looked a lot like the top FC fight, to be honest. Just couldn't stop the takedown. But man, I felt like Tommy was stronger than that KTT guy. At least the KTT guy, I could stand up a couple times and get out of shit. But Tommy just pinned me down in that tiny ass cage, and yeah, fuck. I don't
Yeah,
know,
the
man. I just
the cage.
rest. Yeah.
Does that have a big factor? Because you probably fought in like 50 different types of cages. So
Yeah, no, it's a huge difference. Fighting in a small cage or fighting in a ring or a big cage, or it's they all make a big difference. Like I think how do I fight a little bit. But if you have no room to like move around or circle, really, and you saw that cage, it fits in that little club on the dance floor. Yeah, there's no like I circle, there's nothing. Like I can't you can't even get footwork going. He can cut you off and trap you so easy and I mean, your opponent can just so easily because it's a bathtub. You're fighting in a bathtub, you know.
seriously, you're fighting in like a small pool right there. So,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
cool though. I understand why, like John doing it because he's in a club and needs more. It gives more space for the crowd, and it also enforces. It makes you have to engage. There's not going to be a boring fight in a tiny cage like that because it forces people to engage and have action. But yeah, it's hard for the striker. I'm not
it
gonna
is.
lie. If you're a striker, that's hard.
Yeah, because in the big cage, because I've seen you fight in that cage and I've seen you fight in the big cage
Yeah,
live, many times. So, yeah, for you especially, since you're like a longer, taller guy, circling I think is very important for you,
yeah.
especially,
No,
consider,
definitely.
like compared to like a wrestler where they're like lower down and trying to like get you on the ground and stuff like that.
Because I don't know. Like I could literally just I put my hand out and I can take one or maybe one and a half step and I can touch his hand already. Like but when we were touching gloves, it was super. You take one big step, boom, touch gloves already.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, like you said, it it promotes action.
Yeah.
It makes the audience feel like they are way closer to the action because
Oh
yeah,
man, and I wouldn't complain if I was fighting another striker. I like the small cages if it.
seriously. Um yeah, I guess thank you for your time, man. It's been a while since I talked to you and stuff, and I know you are a busy man over there, so maybe we'll catch up again in the near future.